Alright, thanks for watching the video. Today we're going to be going over different upper body exercises that explore time under tension in a way that isn't egregiously painful. It can get you some of the benefits of time under tension, especially if you're starting out without having a lot of experience. And I think that this process will benefit you more than just kind of winging it and figuring it out as you go. So you can use this as like a template to build up on the exercises that you like, and then the foundation for how things are timed to increase muscle growth, but also balance out developing strength as well. And then later there'll be other videos specifically on strength development, vice just growth in general. But it's easier, I think, to work on that strength if you have that growth and you have more muscle to use for the strength. So this will be more of a technique foundation and an understanding of how things work in general when it comes to getting a little stronger, but also growing those muscles in a way where you can start seeing the results within legitimately a couple months. I know a couple months isn't really what a lot of people want to hear, but I mean, that's just how it works. You're not going to see anything specific within a week or two. So within a month to 2 months is when you might start seeing actual results. And again, that's going to depend on your diet too, but just for the foundation of the techniques and the different angles and the variances that you can use for different exercises, this will help you develop into like a routine that you enjoy, that you can use, and then you still get the development that you're looking for. So we'll start with the alternating bicep curl using dumbbells. This is one of those exercises that you're going to see pretty much everyone doing, and not only is it's simple to do, it's not super complicated, but it also, a lot of people really enjoy having biceps that are visible, and when they think of strength, this is usually the muscle and the exercise that people consider for just something completely visual. So what you'll see is you want to stand with the dumbbells to your side, and then without rocking back and forth, what you want to do is you just want to twist a little bit and then bring it up. So down here, there's no tension on your bicep. And as you start bringing it up, you feel that tension. And then as you get closer to being parallel, it's less tension. So it's not really a whole lot in there. So people complain about partials or whatever, but they can be utilized in a way that is more effective than just the full range of motion if you're just going for growth. So to start with this process, we're going to be doing the time under tension as in for the concentric motion, we're going to try to do it for 3 seconds for each repetition, for each rep. And then on the eccentric, the extending part, you're going to want to just bring it down safely without throwing it down, because we want that time under tension, I think, is best efficiently used in the concentric motion, because that's where I would understand that your muscle fibers are being so taut and stressed. That's where the damage is going to come in, and that's what you're going to want to repair later with nutrition and rest. So if we can expose ourselves to that time and attention in the right area, then I think that's probably where you're going to get the most growth. And if you read, most people in studies agree that around 40 to 60 seconds of time and attention is going to get you optimal level of growth. So what we can do is you can do like 2 sets of 10 reps with each repetition being about 3 seconds of concentric time under tension, and that's going to get you at least that minute, and that's going to be good enough to start until you can develop into the kind of trainer or athlete or the kind of person that you want to be as it comes to working out. So with the dumbbells to your side, you want to bring it straight up and right in front of you, like perpendicular to your body. Starting from the bottom, we'll do the 3 seconds time under tension. 1, 2, 3, and then the other arm. 1, 2, 3. Now you don't want to be rocking your body back and forth. So a lot of people, as they start swinging it up, they use their inertia, some momentum to get that started, and by doing that, you're kind of ripping off your bicep of some of that stress that you could be giving it. So if you have to rock your body back and forth to get it up, then you're using too much weight, especially if you're going to be using the motion with a few seconds. So if it's hard and you can't get a set of 10, then you need to lower the weight. I don't know, depends on what weight you're using. But effectively, if you can do one rep of like, let's say a 30 pounds, and you can only get one of them and then you're done, and that's as much as you can do, then you probably want to come down to like 10 to 15 pounds when you're expanding on time and intention. It should be around 30 to 50% of what your actual weight can be. So you can do them straight out like this. And it's hard to think about the time and intention because it's not something that people usually do. And you don't want to just completely drop the weight, because if you drop it, that's how you can start getting injuries and you start lacking on the form. So there's the alternating bicep curl that way, and there's also the different types of bicep curls. So you can also do the hammer curl, which is probably a little harder. But the hammer curl, instead of twisting your wrist, you just keep it where it is and you just lift this way. And the motion's a little less, but it is an effective workout. Another thing to consider, like the heavier the weight, more likely you're going to start bringing in other muscles. If you bring your arm forward, you're going to start feeling a little bit of torque on your lower back, and you're also moving a lot of your shoulder into this. So what you can do is you bring your arms back, push your arms back just a little bit, and then that's going to limit how much of everything else you can use, and you're going to be using more of your bicep with it that way. So you have the standard side by side, alternating. You have the hammer curl. And then you also can do like the inside, I don't know what it would be called, but like the inside hammer curl, where you bring it and you do like an arc in front of your body. It just kind of depends on what you want to do. Each one hits your bicep at a different angle, and really what you want to do is hit all your muscles with different angles, because if you're only utilizing one angle, then you're not hitting all the muscle fibers effectively. You're only getting like a portion of them as they run down your bicep, whereas if you can do it from different angles, you're more effectively getting each part of the bicep used. So you're growing the whole thing instead of portions of it, because it's not all going to be used effectively. I do prefer using the alternating method, just because I get more focus on one and the other. But if you're pressed for time, you just do both at the same time, like a simultaneous. And it's a little harder, but it does get you the same just effect out of each side. So yeah, it just depends on what your preference is. So in this segment, we're going to be touching up on the shoulders. And the easiest way to kind of just get all of it in one would be doing some shoulder presses and some lateral raises. And that's going to pretty much cover all of your shoulders. Now, a lot of what you're going to be doing at the gym, especially if you're doing like upper body exercises, those are going to use the shoulders in different ways. So typically you'll find that these are somewhat overdeveloped compared to other muscles, but it is a good idea, in my opinion, to train them individually as well. And then you can kind of figure out exactly how you want to do it, if you want to do individual shoulder training or not. But I do recommend using it, doing all the muscles by themselves at first, so you can figure out where you want to start and what's weak or what's not weak. So for the shoulder presses, you literally just like lift them up, and then when they're up, you want to make sure that your elbows and shoulders are in a comfortable position. If you have them flared out too far, it's going to probably be a little tight and not necessary. But if they're inside, it's going to be it's going to be a little more challenging. It just depends on your body type and what sort of angles work for you. So I kind of put them out just a little bit of an angle, and then for me, that helps me keep my back straight, and I can focus on just like the press. So there's no reason to keep them all the way down. You don't have to come down further than this. Just keep them up, kind of around ear level, and then you just slowly press up. And then there's no reason to make them touch. You don't have to like make it crazy complicated, but just lift them up and then come back down. And then since we're doing the time under tension, you just want to slowly raise them up and then come back down. And you want to use all of that energy on the concentric part. So doing sets of those is going to be how you build a really strong foundation for your shoulders. Alright, now so for more of the shoulder exercises, there's different raises that you'll see people doing. You see them out to the side, and then there's some people that do them into the front, or they do alternating. I don't really recommend using the ones in the front, just because it's not necessary. I think the ones that you get more out of the lateral raises, like more to the side. And again, they don't have to be completely like out, so they don't have to be completely like parallel with your body. What you can do is just bring them out at an angle, and then that'll also get you as much as you need. These are going to be at a lighter weight, so if you're not used to doing them, I'd say 5 or 10 pounds is plenty to start with. And again, you just want to lift them up and then bring them back down. You don't want to be in a position where you're rocking your body, because that's how you know you're using too much weight. You just bring them up, and they don't need to go all the way up. They just around here is fine. There's no reason to lift them higher than your shoulders, and then back down. And if you come down all the way to the bottom, again, you feel that rest. You can do that if you need to, but you don't have to. If you want to just come up and then back down, before you get all the way to the bottom and rest, you can come back up. Now that's harder, but it is going to get you some more of that stress that you might be looking for. So it just depends. All right. So when it comes to the triceps specifically, there's a couple different ways you can do the extensions. I like doing them with I try to get my back a little parallel to the ground, and I bring my arm up. My hand's just hanging by the elbow, and then I use my tricep without anything else to just lift the weight and then bring it right back down to where it was. And then this is another exercise where it's not as easy as some, so it might start off with a lower weight, and then you'll get stronger as you go. So I'm balancing on my left arm, my knee, and my right leg to make sure that my body's not moving a whole lot. And I'm just extending with the tricep. So you don't want to be moving your arm, you don't want to be pivoting out of your shoulder. You just want to keep all that static, and then the bending should be based on where the elbow is. You can also, with the dumbbell, bring it over your head, and then you just extend this way. This is a little more complicated because of how you have to sit, and now you have a dumbbell on the back of your head, so if it slips, you're going to hit yourself or whatever, and you're going to need more weight for this to be effective. But if you're going to do it this way, you want to make sure you bring your arms in and not out. And you just lift straight up with your tricep. But that's not really the one I recommend, but I do know that people like doing them. You can also do this flat on the bench. It's where you're doing the same thing, called skull crushers. You're just lifting it up and then lowering it. But I feel like you get more of an isolation and more control over what you're doing if you use the bench to like hold yourself up and just do the flat bench tricep extension that way. When it comes to the chest, there's a bunch of different angles that you can use, but effectively you're just pressing with your chest to get things done. So the further out your arms are, the more you're forced to use the different parts of your chest, and the more you bring it inside, now you're bringing in your triceps to the equation a little bit more than you would be if they were out. So chest press effectively is just going to be, again, your elbows at a comfortable angle, a little bit about shoulder width apart, or you're about shoulder width apart, and then you just press up. Now, when this comes to this exercise specifically, especially if you're using dumbbells that aren't super heavy, you can get more out of it if you kind of tap into that mind-muscle connection where you're thinking about which muscles are doing the work. And I know it sounds silly, but it actually is really effective. If you just focus on your chest pushing things up, you can feel the difference with where things are going. So for the chest press, it's just like this, and then come back down, hold it up, and then back down. And there's also, with your chest, you can bend your elbows a little bit, and then bring your dumbbells out. Again, it's going to be a lighter weight for this one. And you just lift. If you keep your arms in the same position, and you're not bending them any more than you were from the beginning, if you keep them at the same angle, you could use your chest to bring up your arms. And again, there's no reason to make them touch. You're not getting anything extra out of that. So just bring them up and close, and then back down. And the more you focus on your chest, the more you get out of it. So you'll get a lot of benefit out of using the flat bench when it comes to your chest and those couple different exercises you can do. And there's plenty more. Again, there's all kinds of stuff that you can find. Just do whatever exercises you think are going to be, like, one, they should be entertaining. Like, you should enjoy it. If you're not enjoying the exercises that you're doing, and then there's probably different exercises you can do that will kind of do the same thing that you'll get benefits from, that you'll just enjoy more, meaning you'll do them more and you'll be more excited to go to the gym and continue it. But so the flat bench is going to be effective, but there's also different angles. Like your chest is not a small, it's not a small muscle. It takes up a lot of volume, just area in general. So it should be a little bit obvious that you can do different things with it at different angles, and that's going to be more effective than just sticking to one exercise. So specifically, you have the flat bench, and then there's also the incline chest press that you can do, or incline bench, which is going to be effective at targeting part of like it's going to be more effective when it comes to like the upper part of your chest and those fibers specifically. So you could usually do a little bit more weight with this one, but again, it's going to be up to your shoulders and the comfort level of that. But you start around here and you just go straight up, just like you're doing a shoulder press earlier, but now you're leaning back a little bit instead of sitting or standing. And when it comes to this one, there's no reason to bring it all the way down, because now you're stressing it more than you probably should. But just around eye level, and then just press up and then come back down. There's no reason to have your elbows at weird angles, just whatever is comfortable for you and your shoulders, whatever your anatomy suggests. And come up, no reason to touch them, just up, almost all the way up, and then come back down. And then this will work on your upper chest, also a little bit of your shoulders as well, your triceps. All those muscles that we're already working on are going to get touched up again. And this is also a pretty good angle to do bicep curls. But this being said, you're going to want to use different, like a lighter weight, because it is pulling a little differently. This will also help isolate the biceps on their own if the other exercises just didn't seem it. But this, you can feel it a little bit in your shoulders doing this, especially with your head up. You don't want to be exercising like this. You want to be supported so that you're not going to strain anything. Any weird things that I'm doing, like with my head and I'm talking, right? I wouldn't be talking normally during exercises, but I'm trying to just get some of the information out at the same time, and I'm lifting my head up, right? Don't do that during your exercises. That's not going to do anything but put you in a position where you can get injured. And then for your back, there are a lot of different exercises you can do to work on the different parts of your back. A lot of those come from having access to different machines that kind of makes it the easiest, like the lat pull down. And I can do the machine videos and a little differently, but we're going to assume that you don't have those for this one. So then the best exercise that you can probably do with a dumbbell would be just getting on a flat bench, grabbing the dumbbell, and then doing a pull. And this is going to be a little bit more weight than some of the other exercises. You should be able to do more here than you can do curling. If not, then you probably have some weird muscle imbalance. But you just bring your arm down, let it hang a little bit, and then without using your entire body to rock, you shouldn't be like bouncing it up. Your body should just stay flat, and you bring it in, and you're going to get some of the tricep in here, but also you focus on your back, and you can specifically like allocate the work to it as long as you get that muscle memory down. And this will also work some of those back shoulders that you got. So that's going to cover most of the muscles in your upper body. It obviously doesn't include everything. And there are plenty of other good exercises that you could be doing, but this is a good start as to developing like a program. And I'll go over more of them later, and I'll add different exercises in using different equipment that some people may or may not have, or even some exercises that don't involve any equipment whatsoever. These are some decent starts to some biceps, triceps, some chest, and a little bit of your back. Obviously, you have more muscles in your upper body than that, and that's going to be for something that I add on to later. But this is a good start if you don't have a lot of experience. These are some good foundational basics to begin with that are going to give you not only those specific muscles, but there's also some supporting muscles that you use during some of these exercises that you're going to start to develop that you're going to need for other things. I know that these aren't specifically compound motions that you use for your whole body. They will start to add on to each other as you develop a program that works for whatever your goals are. So thanks for watching. I appreciate the support. If you want to leave a comment or send me a message about something specific that you want to talk about, or maybe I misspoke or could explain something better, just let me know and I'll be as responsive to it as I can be. Thanks.